Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. And obviously, you read the title, you know it's the March wrap-up. Welcome, thank you for being here. And I honestly had a fabulous March reading month. I don't know what it was. Not that I read a lot of books, but I read 2 5-stars back to back. And I am like a really picky reader, so that was like incredible. Anyways, I'm just gonna jump right in. In March, I read 7 books. And that amounted to 2,595 pages. The first book I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And I know I'm a little bit, I think I'm like the last person to read this book. I'm just so late on it. But it was giving. I think when I read it, I was just in such a mood for nostalgic reads that reminded me of my teenage years. Because it was just like the perfect melding of like Hunger Games and An Ember in the Ashes and a little bit of Once Upon a Broken Heart. It was just so good. I feel like was the fantasy or the story like the most original thing I've ever read in my life? No. But was Kai Azar eating up his lines? Yes. Yes, he was. I don't think I've read such a good male main character in such a long time. He's just so book boyfriend. He's just that guy. And I hope him and Peyton are very happy for a very long time. You know, because after that ending, I was just... But I just eat up their banter, their lines. If you, like, saw all those TikTok audios from the audiobook, like, going viral of all these things that he says, I literally spent so much time just scrolling through them because they're just... The girlies were eating those audios up. They're... it was so good. But yes, obviously, love this book. It was 4.25. Honestly, the romance was a 5-star, though. It was like a 6-star. I loved it. But, you know, it got dropped a little because, you know, just story and overall, whatever it is. But fantastic. Love it. We'll be grabbing up Reckless as soon as it comes out. The next book I read was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I previously had tried to read this book 2 or 3 times. I think twice. And I put it down. But I'm a believer in the right timing. This book was so good. It was so good. The chemistry that Brianna and Jacob have. This was literally like the sweetest book ever. I just love the understanding and the working around each other's differences and traumas and not making the other feel like it's too much or it's just unnecessary and they're acting too much. Like, it was just so good. They just complement each other so perfectly. It was like the perfect depiction of how you can feel such ease around someone that just gets you. You can just relax. It just resonated so hard. It just resonated so hard. Also, just the author's note at the end of Yours Truly. Usually I don't read author's notes, but I was listening to it on audiobook and and it just kept playing. Why was I crying? Why was I crying at that author's note? I literally don't even care about author's notes. I don't read them. I was crying. And I was like, okay, I guess I just have to read Abby Jimenez's author's notes because she just puts a little bit of herself in all of her books. And that's just so beautiful. Abby Jimenez is such a girl boss. So strong for going through that. So the next book I read is actually part of the SMP boycott. So we'll not be discussing her. Then I read Ninth House. And this is a reread for me, but I read this in 2020 and I'm a goldfish. I didn't really remember what happened too much. Tell me why it became a 5-star. No comment, just it's a 5-star. So this book is following Alex Stern and she's recruited to Yale to be part of a secret society called Leigh that basically overlooks the other secret societies that deal in magic. Because she can see ghosts. And this spirals into a lot of different avenues. But I just love that Alex is so protector coded. She's just gonna do whatever is necessary to help her friends and make sure they're safe, make sure they're doing the best. And I don't know, I just loved her so much. All of the characters just felt so real and palpable, and I feel like I don't have that experience very often with books where I feel like the characters are actually real, but I could totally imagine Alex just out there at Yale just living it up They should live it up. Anyways, just living among the secret societies. And then there's that, but then she's the main character. But also the side characters felt real. That's really hard to do. Leigh Bardugo's genuinely just an amazing storyteller and world builder. I just wish I had her mind. She's so smart. I loved Ninth House. It was just chef kiss. And I'm kind of scared to start Hellbent now because the standards are so high, or the expectations are so high. But it is what it is. The next book I read was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. So, of course, I read yours truly, and then that just sparked a love for Abby Jimenez. So I said, let me check out her backlog. Part of Your World. Alexis and Daniel are just so cute together. I just love a book boyfriend that's gonna take care of the girl, gonna just make her life as easy as possible, is just willing to put in the effort, and he's just so down bad. That's really the main reason. He's just so down bad for Alexis. He's gonna move mountains for her. And I just love that for her. I loved reading about it. But I also just love that he's just there for Alexis, and he's just willing to put himself out there and be uncomfortable for her. And then she grows and she kind of finds her passion in life through just interacting with him, and they're both growing through their relationship. It's just top tier. Of course, I gave this a 5-star. I don't know if I said that already, but oh my gosh. But this is basically following Alexis, the main character. He basically ends up like stranded in a small town, and then Daniel ends up towing her car out and giving her a place to stay because he runs a B&B. And, you know, that just sparks some chemistry. And then the book progresses. Alexis is a doctor out 2 or 3 hours away from this small town, and the expectations placed on her are really high because she's basically medical royalty. And Daniel is the mayor of this small town, so it becomes a whole thing. But there's also a baby goat, which I thought was a really big selling point because I love little animals. Who doesn't? Definitely check this book out. Top tier. And the next book I read was the Jasad Heir, and this was a 4-star for me because I felt like there was a little bit. So I want to explain this book first. This book follows Sylvia, our main character, and she's the long-lost princess of this kingdom that was overtaken by the 3 surrounding kingdoms because Jasad contains an abundance of magic, and magic is considered to cause madness in people. So when she's 9, she ends up having to run away. She ends up in this small town, and she's living there when she comes to the attention of the Nizal Heir, who is basically the main enemy of Jasad. He basically recruits her to participate in the Al-Kala, which is a trial between the 3 remaining kingdoms. I feel like this is my first experience with a genuine enemies to lovers. I feel like that trope is used a little bit more, like they're unfriendly to each other and then they end up lovers, even in fantasy, not just like romance. But genuinely, like, his people are eradicating her people, and he's considered the Nizal Heir, and he actively finds Jasadi people to eradicate them. But, you know, he obviously thinks he's right just because he's not actually killing them. He just sends them to trial. But obviously the trial is rigged. But, you know, there's a lot of things happening. But he ends up training her, and through training they kind of develop this kind of banter and chemistry. It was pretty good. I feel like this book mainly focused on the world building and developing the characters, and very little on the actual trials. So much so that I was getting closer to the end of the book, and I was like, are we even getting through all 3 trials? But we do. They're just not the main focus. The main focus is really heavily on the world and understanding the world, which I liked because it made you feel more immersed in the storyline and have a better understanding. I think this author was also focusing more on where you are born really dictates how you view the world and how you're going to process certain events and just what you're hearing. I feel like the trials were just kind of something to work up to. It wasn't really the main point. But this is a duology, so I think the next book will probably be a little bit more plot than world building. But yeah, I didn't mind. It was great. 4 stars. It was solid. And the last book I read to end off the month, I literally read it on the last day of the month in one sitting. It was Tara September's Hot and Cold. And does this cover need a little help? Yes. But I devoured this. It was so good. It's like a novella. It's barely 200 pages. I don't think it's even 200 pages. It was exactly what I needed. It was just fast-paced. It was romance. They had good banter. It's Grumpy Sunshine. They're just so cute. Also, it's one of those books where you're literally, it's dual POV and you flip to his POV and he's immediately like, she's so beautiful. Like, she's literally a shot of espresso. She's sunshine. And he's just thinking all these things in his POV. I'm gone. I'm gonna read this book. Like, yeah, I feel like Tara September, she really was able to make the plot move at a quick pace, but it felt natural. And I just love the development. I don't know. It was just a quick and easy read, and I would recommend it. I rated it 4 stars. They're just so cute together. They're so cute. Anyways, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Tell me what your favorite read of last month. Tell me what your favorite read of last month was. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.